Bettor Sports Betting is your home for picks, props, and futures for tonight's action. Bettor Sports Betting wants to know what picks you're playing tonight. Tell us in the live chat on YouTube, Twitter, and the Bettor Sports Network app. This is Bettor Sports Betting with Fantasy Alarm's Dan Servodidio.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in here to the Bettor Sports Betting Show on Wednesday afternoon on Bettor Sports Network, Fantasy Alarm. Appreciate everyone coming in here and joining us. What's up, Howard? I got Howard Bender back with me on today's show.
What's going on, Servo? I'm feeling a little froggy today. I don't know why. I might have to fight you on a couple of picks. Maybe. I don't even know. I wanted to fight you on betting baseball today, but you know what? Somehow we're still doing that. But listen, dude, I'm so locked in right now. I mean, I've got two good bets for MLB. We will talk about that later, but I'm zooming in on the NFL, dude. Had a really great week one. Want to carry that momentum, and a good friend of ours, both who we've done the show with, Craig Mish. Here was a guy who, years ago, this is like a decade ago, Mish and I were talking, and he was really kind of giving me some amazing insights on the way to look at NFL lines, the way to, we do our Diamond Dogs thing, right? And it's the whole be a goldfish kind of thing. And in a lot of ways, you have to understand that you have to be like that when you're betting the NFL, and you got to put aside some of the things that you saw in week one, and how to just kind of explore the lines and really find out something that's a little on the fishy side. So I am I'm having a blast with the NFL right now. I guess that's the high of coming off of a huge betting week and fantasy and DFS week, where you're just all right, man, if it's going to be like this, if I'm going to make it rain for 17 weeks, let's go.
Well, yeah, you got to keep the good vibes rolling week to week for sure, especially, as good of a week as you had. I mean, it was awesome. And if you missed it, Howard went, what was it, 8-1, 9-1 on your picks that you gave out on the show?
9-1, because I had that little throw in there of you might as well bet Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 touchdown passes too. So
and you haven't been here since Monday's show, but even with the Rodgers injury, you cashed on your Jets against the spread. And we both hit on the under for that one too, but your Jets bet still came through somehow. What a crazy game that was. But yeah, just looking from week to week, you mentioned it. It's so important because on yesterday's show, me and John and Pemba were breaking down some early thoughts and early odds for week two, and looking at the Bengals favored against the Ravens. Especially what we just saw from the Bengals last week, you'd think no way they can beat the Ravens this week, but they're favored there. Vegas thinks they can win, and I'll probably be picking the Bengals there to win. So it's you just got to completely flip the script, all right, it's still Burrow and the Bengals offense. They can bounce back and put up a good number. And the Ravens offense still was, they probably should have beat the Texans by a lot more than they did. So, we'll be looking at some week two odds and some little spreads. Friday's show will be giving out some firm picks on all these games, our best bets, our player props that we like. Tomorrow's show, we will be giving out some bets for Vikings-Eagles for that Thursday night game. But today we'll be looking at some week two odds. We do have some betting picks for baseball to give out as always, because we got to get some stuff going tonight. It's really the only sports we got going live tonight. So, some afternoon baseball.
Football, man. Why don't they play? They might as well just play every day during the week that the NFL doesn't play.
That's going to be starting up soon. Yeah, we always get some action on Tuesdays and then Wednesday nights. So we'll be getting some of those shortly. There's a couple games on Thursday night and Friday night this week. But, on your point with being locked into NFL, I'm locked into college football. I was just writing up before we went live here, writing up a best bets article for Fantasy Alarm that's going to be going live probably tomorrow or Friday for this weekend's games. And just looking at these odds and these spreads, and no matter how good or bad you did the week before, you just got to wipe the slate clean and look at things from different angles and fresh angles too. So it'll be awesome to dive more into these games Thursday, Friday. But let's start out with some NFL Week 2 odds and lines that are just kind of interesting out there. We touched on some of these games yesterday, but I got Howard here to give a new angle on some of these. So let's start with the Raiders at Bills for Sunday's games. Buffalo favored 9-point favorites at home here. 46.5 is the over under there. You got a lean or a pick for this one that you like?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, here's the funny thing, and I'll tell you what. I give you, what you said about Cincinnati and Baltimore. I think you're very much on that as well. In the sense that, why would Cincinnati? If you look, the layman would say, well, I've got to take Baltimore. They beat the hell out of Houston. Look at that score, and Cincinnati looked terrible, and Baltimore's got a great defense. So they're almost begging you to take Baltimore in the points.
Yeah.
So. I kind of look at, a lot of them in very similar fashions as well. Where we go, Raiders, Bills?
Yeah.
So Raiders, Bills, you look at this and you say, well, the Bills looked absolutely terrible against the Jets. Josh Allen throwing 3 picks, things like that. The Raiders, they went into Denver. They won on the road. I mean, this is, it's great for them. And it's the Bills favored by 9. A lot of people, are going to look at that and say, I want to take the Raiders in the points. Devontae Adams, Jimmy Garoppolo, he's a proven winner. I think the Bills come out and not only win it, but they end up, they end up covering that 9-point spread. I think that, they're just they went up against a tough Jets defense and struggled. The Raiders defense is nowhere near that of the Jets.
I'm with you. I think that the public perception is definitely down on the Bills and Josh Allen and then the offense right now, but they should bounce back, especially at home in this spot, because, the Raiders played, a Broncos offense that's still trying to figure out what it is. Still have Russell Wilson at quarterback, who has not looked great the last couple of years, and we'll see what they end up being the rest of the season. But that win could end up looking like, all right, they should have won that game, even though they were, on the road as underdogs. So I'm with you on the Bills line here. I think they could win by double digits and just get a convincing win to completely, bounce back from that Monday night. All right, let's look at the next game here and bring these odds back up, because another one. Seahawks at Lions in week 1. Seahawks.
Yeah, give me some of your thoughts on that, because I got some stuff I want to chime in with too.
Yeah, well, so yesterday we broke down some of this game with John, and just seeing the Seahawks at 5.5, I love getting them as underdogs here, because the Lions, another team that I think the perception of them is a lot higher after they just beat the Chiefs, on national TV Thursday night, the first game of the season. I think the perception of the Lions is like, all right, they're for real. They're here, which I do think there will be legit contenders in the NFC North and be, a great chance to be a playoff team. But I think overall the perception of the Lions is just a lot higher, which I think has forced this spread into, I think this should be more like +3 for the Seahawks or something like that. I think +5.5 is a great spot to just, again, buy low, a little low on the Seahawks, and sell a little high on the Lions.
So I agree with you on that front. I looked at this line initially, and I was like, wow, Seahawks, are they that bad of a team? We know that the Lions got a really nice pass rush. What's their secondary look like? So I was kind of on that front of saying, it's got to be the Seahawks and the points. I'm going to do it. The pause that I'm having right now is that the Seahawks are going to be down 2 could be down 2 offensive linemen. And if that's the case, you had Lockett leave the game last week with the concussion. Geno Smith isn't going to have a whole lot of time to throw. So, you got Aiden Hutchinson, who can easily wreak havoc in the backfield. So I'm leaning still Seahawks plus the points, but now I'm starting to look at what this offensive line could be over the next day or two before I actually lay this bet.
Okay. Can you bring up the odds again, producer Adam Bernard here? Just want to look at the total for that game. It's at 47.5. I mean, honestly, you could look at probably the under for that if you're talking about what the situation is for Seattle offensively, with maybe the Lions kind of setting the tone on defense. And we know the Lions offense is going to use Montgomery and Gibbs a lot to keep that one, lower scoring on their end. So might look at the under too for that one. All right, the next game we're going to bring up here is the Bears at Buccaneers. 3-point spread in favor of the Bucs. The over/under at 41 there. I don't know, any specific leans you like for this? I think this is another situation where the Bears losing at home against the Packers in Week 1. The perception of them is probably down. The Bucs winning in Week 1 as underdogs, winning outright. So obviously the perception is the Bucs being flat out the better team. But I think the Bears getting 3 points is interesting.
And my lean right now is the Bears +3 because, with Justin Fields and DJ Moore and Darnell Mooney, they're talking about maybe Chase Claypool being inactive. They've got an array of running backs, one of whom, Roschon Johnson, did a great job catching, he saw like 6 or 7 targets in that game. I don't think the Bears are as bad as what we saw. And, and like I'm reading like all these updates, like, the whole team seemed shook, when they resumed in the facility on Monday. And like, of course, because you guys looked like a bunch of idiots against Green Bay. That's just boom, fine. So, do they right that ship? And I don't think Tampa Bay is that great of a team. I mean, they beat Minnesota. Minnesota's defense is terrible. They put up, 20 points on them in that one. I mean, the defense held nicely, I guess, against Justin Jefferson, sure. But, I still think that, I don't think that I can rate the Bucs that well. So I'll take the Bears as a road dog +3.
Yeah, and honestly, the Bucs getting that win, I think, says even, possibly more about the Vikings, because I remember when we were going through win totals for every team, looking at futures odds for the NFL and looking at the NFC South teams, the Vikings, one of the points I kept bringing up was their record, near perfect record in one-score games last year, where they just seemed to always pull it out, and that was bound to regress this season, and it came true in Week 1. Whereas they, last year they just kind of played over their head, exceeded expectations more than they probably should have. And I think in Week 1, facing still, even though they got Baker Mayfield, it's still a team with a ton of talent in the Bucs. So, but yeah, the Bears probably, looking to bounce back. It's interesting that you mentioned like the vibes in the locker room. I mean, listen, losing at home against the division rival in Week 1 is obviously tough, but I do think the team will be looking to bounce back. So yeah, I think early lean, I'd be looking at the Bears too there. All right, let's look at the Giants. Obviously getting shut out 40-0 in the Sunday Night Football. The vibes around the Giants are low, at least in the public. And they're 5-point favorites here against the Cardinals on the road. I mean, listen, going into the season, we would have the Giants a lot higher on our radars and betting circles and all that than the Cardinals. And I think maybe this is, the 5-point spread. You can tell me differently, but I feel like this is a little low for the Giants because they could easily win this game by double digits. The Commanders didn't do that in Week 1, but they could have. They had a couple of chances to score where they didn't. The Cardinals just kind of held around and covered that spread. But I don't know. Where are you at with the Giants-Cardinals?
Yeah, my wife wants me to say Giants -5 no matter what. I mean, that's what she's hoping that I turn around and say. But, to your point, like we expected more from the Giants after, before heading into that game against Dallas. We definitely did. Yeah. The Cardinals, we had zero expectations for. So if you want to have a short kind of, were the Giants so bad that they, because if let's say the Giants just played Dallas tough. Let's say Dallas won that game and it was like 28-24. Okay, just on that front there. Let's
this
say
spread's probably at like 7 or full touchdown.
So why is this point spread at 5? Like, why is it less than a touchdown? About it? I mean, if you're telling me that it should be Giants -7, but because they got blown out and shut out, in week one that they're going to take 2 points off of that. You could kind of come in there, but like I'm just like I'm not really so sure right now if Cardinals +5 isn't the bet, especially at home, being a home dog here.
I was looking at some early, doing some early research on these games and the spreads and all that. And I'll have this probably for Friday's show, but I found an interesting stat. I don't have the exact numbers, but it was basically like teams that get blown out by multiple scores in week one. They're against the spread record in week two is very good. That just the bounce back factor, especially you mentioned just teams being the spread being a little too low in terms of what we thought of the Giants, 2 weeks ago. So, I probably lean Giants on there. I mean, it's obviously risky after what they just did in week one, laying an egg. But I think that the overall sentiment will be that they will bounce back. Our producer, Adam Bernard, chimed in our chat saying the Giants will tee off against Arizona this week.
Mean, listen, nothing would make me happier than for that to happen because, I mean, my wife, my social agenda, Adam doesn't really know about this. You know about this, Servo. You've had to put up with me on that. My social agenda craps out completely on Sunday nights if the Giants lose. If the Giants lose, there's zero chance that I'm getting any kind of action whatsoever from my wife. She gets so grouchy and gets so mad at these, at a Giants loss. I mean, it's crazy how mad she gets, just steaming.
Well, yeah, especially against the rival Cowboys in week one. That's
oh my God! Don't even start.
I can only imagine. All right, so the last game we'll touch on here: Commanders at the Broncos in week two here. Broncos 3.5-point favorites on the spread there. 38.5 is the over/under. I really don't know where to go with this one. So I'll let you go because I don't know if you have a specific lean on it because it's the Commanders should have won by more against the Cardinals, obviously in week one, but they did not do that. Got the win. Good vibes for them, but I don't know where you see this one.
So here's the thing. And this is I'm just more playing the numbers than anything else. Broncos, where I have it down here. Going into last week, 11-6-3 against the spread in home games in September, last 5 years. All right. They've been kind of flirting with like that 500 mark over like the last 2 or 3 seasons. But before that, they had really been it was just, teams playing this early in that elevation. They can't, they don't deal with it well. It's new to them. Now, the Raiders, on the other hand, obviously have been back and forth to Denver on a regular basis. And, and these guys do know what it's like playing there. Yeah. So, if the Broncos they lost, they didn't cover the spread. They were a home favorite on opening day. So here as a home favorite, 3.5 points. I don't like the hook. I never like giving up that hook. So if you're offshore, maybe buy off that half point. But, for me, I'm just going to play the percentages and say that they, usually do cover at home, so I'm going to take the Broncos. I'm going to lay the 3.5 points actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, after they didn't do that last week, then you're going to be more inclined to say that they will cover.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Week. So, I remember you mentioning that stat when we were talking through the Broncos win total this year and looking at some of their home games early in the year. And I do remember this matchup being one that you kind of circled, especially when we're talking Commanders win total, was that they have to go on the road to Denver right away. Is a tough spot, especially, there could be a letdown here for Washington because it was like a good vibes, emotional win to get that in the first game of the Josh Harris era for Washington after the new owner there. Even though they didn't cover, getting the win there, the crowd was like a sellout crowd for the first time in a while for the Commanders there. So going on the road here, I could see a letdown for sure. Sam Howell on the road, I got to see him prove that too. Even though, it's his second year, but it's still just new starter on the road. I would lean Broncos there too. So, All right, so those are some of the week 2 odds. And again, check out coming up later in the week. Obviously on Friday we'll be giving out some best bets and picks for these games. But I know on FantasyAlarm.com we'll have a best bets article from Howard that will be out there breaking down some of his top picks, player props, and all that. Like
Do
you
I have
did
to do a
week.
whole article, Servo? Can't I just post them in the Fantasy Alarm Discord? Can't I do that?
Either way, you get the Fantasy Alarm All Pro subscription. You get the access to the Discord, but you also get that article over on Fantasy Alarm. So definitely jump on the All Pro subscription. You get a free 7-day trial right now. Go to fantasyalarm.com/NFL. Get all the week 2 DFS content that's up right now. QB coach, running back coach, all that for your DFS contest. But obviously, the best bets and everything else that we got going on at Fantasy Alarm. You get all of it with the All Pro subscription. So jump on that. Later, tomorrow and Friday, I will have some college football content that you can get with the All Pro subscription. DFS playbook, best bets article. Obviously Discord, we're chatting it up, helping you guys build lineups in the college football Discord chat. And with that, just got to mention that we're doing the Servo 7 again, the contest again that we've been doing the last couple of weeks. Our producer Adam Bernard won in week 1, picking over-unders. So you got to try to beat him. But yeah, we got like 21 games that you go over under. You only have to pick 7 of them, but there's like a 21 game player pool or 20 game player pool for Saturday. So tomorrow's show we'll give you more info on how to enter this contest. But if you haven't already, go download the Bettor Edge app or create your account, bettoredge.com/bettor, BETTOR. And you get 1 free entry into the contest, and can help you, win some cool prizes over at Bettor Edge, win some real money at Bettor Edge as well. I know one game, and I'll give out some more college football picks tomorrow, but one game on that board that I am looking at is Tennessee, Florida. Higher total. I'll probably be leaning to the over there because it's gonna be a higher scoring game. Really good Tennessee offense coming on the road to Florida, but I think Florida will be up for it and keep it, a higher scoring game. Only like a 7-point spread in that too, so it should be back and forth. Lots of offense on both sides, but yeah, we got a bunch of games coming up on Saturday for week 3 in college football. And again, tomorrow's show I'll be giving out some more bets, and look for a best bets article over on Fantasy Alarm too, giving out some more picks. So all right, so that's the college football Bettor Edge, and let's now dive right into baseball for tonight because we both got some baseball picks to give you guys tonight. I know we're both glued into NFL, college football, but we're still, baseball is not totally on the back burner. And what's this shirt?
What's that say, baby? This is
Dingers.
Matty O hits dingers. Come on.
Oh, Matty Olson. He had another home run last night.
Hello there.
Listen, as a Phillies fan, watching him go deep against the Phillies, like all this, Acuna went deep too. It's rough out there.
I don't even know what his home run prop is at right now for today. Like as far as
hammering it
to hit a home run. I just texted my guy and was like, just put a unit on Olson to hit a home run today. That dude's just. Dude, I told you, man. I've got a long-term ticket for him to lead the majors, and lead the NL. So I doubled down on Matty Olson, and
dude, it's plus 370 on DraftKings. Why is it that long of odds still at this point? The guy's going deep every other day now at this point. Yeah. All right. So Matty O. All right. With that, let's get to our
to Mulroyd in the chat. That's from rotoware.com.
Oh yeah,
the shirt. Awesome. He said he likes that shirt.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I just missed that comment, but awesome shirts from Rotoware.
Courtesy of my friend Adam Lorber, who actually currently works for the New York Football Giants, but he used to work for the Staten Island Yankees years and years ago, and I ended up turning him on to Matt Olson. Here we go. It was after Matt Olson's rookie year. My friend Adam and his dad, they share this fantasy team. And whatchamacallit? And so he had the question, he was like throwing his keepers in the following year. and he was like, Matt Olson or Justin Smoke. And I was like, dude, if you don't protect Matt Olson, your father will never forgive you for another day in your life because you won't get him. You won't get him in the auction. You'll have to overpay and whatever. And so they've been protecting Matt Olson every single year since his rookie campaign. So he got me the shirt. We love Matty Olson. Cash in, baby.
That was a good call on that because Justin Smoke. I mean, he had some good years, but not in the league right now. And Matt Olson still is hitting homers in the league right now. So Olson coming through, and Mulroyd's saying been profiting off of him just like you. So
dude, it's been great. It doesn't matter where I'm playing contests or props or anything like that. Like you find your Matt Olson, you lock in on him. This was his year, baby. Love it. All right. But besides Matty Olson throwing down, what do you want to start with your best bet? Should I start with my best bet? Where do you want to go?
I'll start with mine. It's your Yankees. And this is a pick I actually gave out on Monday's show, but the game got canceled for the Yankees-Red Sox. And I'm going right back to it because it's the same matchup. Clark Schmidt, over 4.5 strikeouts. You get a plus odds on FanDuel there, plus 102. I just have been targeting the Red Sox lineup lately against right-handed pitching because their strikeout rate over the past week is at 29.2%. Low walk rate, too, in this stretch versus righties. And 5 of the last 7 right-handed starters have had 6+ strikeouts against the Red Sox in this stretch. One of those was a Yankees, Yankees pitcher like yesterday that only pitched like 2 innings to start. So it wasn't really a starter, but all other times traditional starters have been going over this prop. Schmidt has had 5+ strikeouts in 4 straight starts and 5 of his last 6 outings. Also, he's going to probably go a little deeper because the Yankees have gone with doubleheaders yesterday, had a doubleheader on Sunday. They've used a ton of relief arms, and I think they're going to look for Schmidt to go 6-7, even though he's going to give up a few runs maybe, but I still think he goes a little deeper. So I like him to get 5+ strikeouts at plus odds too.
All right, listen, you know what? I mean, you threw this down on Monday. I also had taken the Red Sox on the money line, and that game got postponed. So I will not speak out against you, but I won't take the Red Sox on the money line though anymore because now Clark's all well rested. He can legit go deeper into the game, and we'll see what happens there. So I will thank you for the prop, and then I will turn around and say my best bet for tonight. Here we go. Zach Gallen against, hey, yo, how you doing? I'm Joey Lucchese. Hey, yo, Diamondbacks, first 5 innings, minus 0.5 on the run line. Got me that at minus 105 on BetMGM. I am not a believer in Joey Lucchese. I know that the Diamondbacks numbers against lefties is probably middle of the road at best. But listen, Zach Gallen's amazing. The Mets are out of it and atrocious. Give me the Diamondbacks, at least for the first 5 innings, while Gallen is still on the mound. Give that edge to Arizona.
Yeah, Gallen versus Lucchese, I can get behind that.
But you didn't say it right. You got to say it right. Dan Servodidio, you got to say it like Joey Lucchese.
Hey, it's Lucchese out here. All right. One of my picks, I'm going Oakland Athletics team total over 3.5, plus 110 on DraftKings. They got Hunter Brown on the mound for the Astros, who has been rough since the All-Star break. He's got a 6.08 ERA since the start of August. He has a 7.20 ERA. He's given up at least 5 runs on his own in 4 of his last 6 starts coming into tonight. You'd think, on the surface, I mean, the A's not a great offense overall this year, but they've been feisty lately against right-handed pitching. They're actually like a top 10 offense over the past 2 weeks in multiple categories. 350 WOBA, 242 ISO, high weighted runs created plus against righties. And this team total at 3.5 is low because they've scored at least 4 runs in 9 of their last 12 games coming into tonight. Also done it in 3 straight, including these last 2 games against the Astros, where they've won the first 2 in this series somehow. So I don't think Hunter Brown keeps them down after they've been doing it against better pitching. No rhyme was intended there, but it works.
It worked beautifully. I was love Hunter Brown can't keep it down.
Can't keep him down.
I tell you, very well
rolls
played.
off the tongue. So I'm feeling even better about the athletics bet here.
All right, my next bet, I'm just going with my heart right now, Servo. It's just my heart. I do like the fact that Braxton Garrett is on the mound. But I'll take the Marlins tonight on the money line with Braxton Garrett on the bump for plus 100. And why am I doing this? Well, I really dig Braxton Garrett. I think he definitely is gonna, he's one of those guys who's like auditioning for his next team because the Marlins just won't be able to keep him at some point or another. But we mentioned our friend Craig Mish here on the show already. And Mish, who actually works as a beat writer for the Miami Marlins over at the Miami Herald. So everything's coming up fishy today, right? I booked Scott Fish for Getting Buzzed tomorrow. I'm going to bet on the fish. I talked about Craig Mish. I listened to Fish. It's all about the fish. Money line plus 100. Thank you so much.
Braxton Garrett versus Trevor McGill for Milwaukee there. All right.
Milwaukee can't hit lefties. Do you want me? You guys need me to say it? If you need me to say it, I can say it. Milwaukee can't hit lefties.
All right. My next bet, I'm going with Ryan Mountcastle.
Sorry. And fish have gills. McGill. There you go. Listen, Adam Bernard, come on in here and take a bow on that one, man. Fish have gills. Trevor McGill on the mound. Fishy, 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 fishy. Yeah, fishy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's all coming
played.
up, Fish.
All right, get out of here now. Fish. Servo, sorry to have hijacked your show here.
Listen, no, it's all right. I'm going with a bird here. I'm not going with a fish.
I don't know, man.
We'll see how it goes. Ryan Mountcastle, over 1.5 total bases. He is just crushing lefties. I've bet on him a bunch this season. Whenever he's got a lefty on the mound, 340 batting average, 319 ISO, 660 slugging percentage against left-handed pitchers this year for Mountcastle. He's got Drew Rom on the mound for St. Louis. Former Oriole actually came over in the trade with the Jack Flaherty trade over to St. Louis. So I think that actually kind of helps the Orioles having a little bit of a book. They know what they're facing here. But either way, Drew Rom has a 7.79 ERA and a 2.02 WHIP over his 4 starts so far since he has been brought up into that Cardinals rotation. So I think Mountcastle can get over 1.5 total bases here, minus 120 on DraftKings. And your favorite analysis, he's actually gone hitless in his last few games, so he's due.
Oh, man, I love it. I'll give it to you, man. The he's due analysis really set me over the top for that. All those stats against left-handed pitching that you were throwing at me, they meant nothing. Due. As soon as you said he's due,
fish hooked.
All right, let's go with a different animal. Can we go with a different animal? Let's go with a different animal. You went bird. Now I went fish. Certainly, there's got to be another animal.
Oh, how about a dog? How about the Diamond Dogs? Let's roll it up, Diamond Dogs.
Yow.
I'm rounding up the Diamond Dogs.
Who the are the Diamond Dogs?
It's just a group of people who care, Roy. Not unlike folks at a hip-hop concert whose hands are not in the air.
Oh, all right. We got the dogs coming in here. Feisty Howard dog today.
Because you know what I'm doing? I'm going against what I was going to do on Monday.
And
you're going to give me the Yankees. Plus 115 on the money line tonight. Can they do it? Can they beat the Boston Red Sox? I say yes. And Clark Schmidt does go over his 4.5 strikeout prop that Servo's loving on. And everything's coming up pinstripes tonight, folks. Everything's coming up pinstripes.
I swear, me and Howard are not usually homers on this show, but he's going with the Yankees, and I'm going with the Philly as my diamond dog. And because, listen, like your Matt Olson, home run bet, this bet has just been profitable like almost every single game since Trey Turner got his standing ovation from the Philly crowd. Over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He's been on fire. I mean, I can reel off, his .435 batting average in the last 15 games, hitting almost 400 over the past month now. But he's been over this prop, over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. He's doing it in multiple ways. Sometimes he's been hitting homers left and right, so usually it's by that. But he's got 12 multi-hit games in the last 15 contests now. He's been over this in 14 of the last 15. Been over this in 19 of his last 22 home games, too, going back this past month. So I know he's got Spencer Strider on the mound, which is obviously tough, but Strider's had a couple rough outings lately. Just allowed 6 runs to the Cardinals his last start, allowed 4 runs to the Dodgers the start before. So, listen, if I could get plus odds on Trey Turner to go over this prop, which is usually it's like a minus 140 to minus 160 because of how hot he's rolling, I'm going to take it. So, yeah, give me Trey Turner.
What I love about also, I mean, in case you guys don't follow baseball or whatever, Trey Turner's standing ovation that he got was because he was so bad.
He was so bad.
So terrible. And I think somebody, people started booing him. And then all of a sudden there was like this grassroots campaign to show Trey Turner some love from the Philly crowd to kind of like ease his, the pressure that he was putting on himself. And so he came to bat the next game, and the whole stadium gave him a standing ovation. They cheered him on. He had they rope a double on that.
Like a RBI double or RBI single. Yeah.
Like right there on that pitch. And he has just been banana cakes ever since. So, you know what? I mean, I got to give it up to whoever started that campaign in Philly about that. Because, I mean, listen, everybody knows that Philly really more comes off like Boston South. And this is not a fan base that you want angry at you. They throw batteries at people. So, to see that, kind of love from the city of brotherly love was unbelievable. So Trey Turner, yeah, I like this. I'm going to lay this action down as well. Over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBI. I like that a lot, Servo. I think your dog's better than my dog right now.
Oh, I mean, listen, as soon as I saw plus money on this, I was going to make this one of my regular bets, but as soon as I saw plus money on it, it's got to be the Diamond Dog because, it's been awesome to see him positively respond to the situation there and just fully take advantage, especially when he's at home, which he is tonight here. I mean, last night, they lost to the Braves, but he hit a game-tying home run to send it to extras, and he's been clutch. He's been just straight up locked in at the plate. So, you can look at his home run prop too, because listen, he's literally hitting home runs like every other game at this point, or every game. So, give me Trey Turner. All right, so those are our Diamond Dogs. Some baseball bets for you guys tonight. If you missed it earlier in the show, me and Howard went through some Week 2 NFL lines and spreads that we find interesting. Some early leans on games for Sunday, but come back tomorrow. We'll be breaking down Vikings-Eagles and giving out some college football bets on tomorrow's show. But then on Friday, me and Howard will be giving out a full NFL betting card for Week 2. So come back for that. And cash Howard's bets. Maybe fade mine, but you can cash Howard's bets because he's on fire. And hopefully we keep it going tonight. Appreciate everyone tuning in here on a Wednesday afternoon. Coming up after us, we got MLB Quick Pitch DFS live show. John and Pemba and Colby Conway. 6 p.m. Eastern, Sports Bettor Court with Dan Lust. Then 7 p.m. Eastern, Lisa Ann does Fantasy Better with Howard Bender. Back on the Bettor Sports Network here with Lisa Ann for that show. So stay tuned in, locked in here all night long, all afternoon on Bettor Sports Network. Thanks for everyone joining in here, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Later.
Bettor Sports Betting. on the Bettor Sports Network.